Jared, you're so sleek. Mikey and Jared, they're making beats.
Well, welcome. Episode 2 of Slick Picks, Season 3. We're talking about Week 1 in the NFL. We finally made it. No more preseason, no more win totals, and none of that. This is real football we're talking about.
Hell yeah. I'm fired up to be here, Mikey. I'm fired up. Football's back. Bills are back. Matt Stafford's back. Lions are back. I'm here for it.
Are you nervous being the consensus, Super Bowl favorite?
Yes. I saw a graphic where everyone on, one of the, football shows picked the Bills to win. Not go to the Super Bowl, but to win the Super Bowl. Every one of them. They might have cost us the Super Bowl right there. I don't think that's an exaggeration to say.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that. That sucks. I would hate to see it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Let's do a quick preview for the game tonight. I mean, it's obviously such a big deal. I'm going with, I think the Bills will win. I think the Rams, because it's 2.5, I would dabble with it. If it goes to 3.5, I might just bet money line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Rams do really well against balanced offenses that run and pass the ball. So, for example, the Bengals. Everyone loves Joe Burrow. But if you look at that offense, it's extremely balanced. Then we beat the 49ers, a fairly balanced offense. We beat the Packers on that run, a fairly balanced offense. They run the ball as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think if the Bills or the Chiefs had made it to the Super Bowl, one of those teams really might have won and beaten the Rams. I think we were very fortunate to play the Bengals. And I'm saying we like I'm a Rams fan, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're honorary.
You know what I mean?
You're honorary. I think it's allowed. I think the Rams fans would welcome it as well. They don't have a lot of fans in general, so you don't.
I was gonna say it's not exactly. So I think the Bills just being such a pass happy offense might be a little bit tough for the Rams to deal with. That's my take.
Yeah, I feel that. You could say the same thing about the Rams passing on the Bills without Trey White, though, which is a concern.
Yeah.
I think Cooper Kupp might slice him up. That being said, I like the over, 51.5. Let's get going. People are fired up for football. Josh Allen's pissed.
Is this a pick?
It's not it's not on my board.
Oh, okay.
But I would take
it sounded
the
like
over.
you were about to just start dropping picks. I was like, God damn.
I could. I have some. I have a little underdog parlay that I wanted to get to later in the show, involving some players in this game. But Bills are great. Super Bowl contentious. This could be a preview for the Super Bowl. So I think the Bills are going to win. But that being said, I'm not upset if they lose. I just want them to be competitive. I want the team to show up and look like they have a brain this year. Everyone get out healthy.
No, I totally agree. This isn't one you got to walk away with a dub. Just you want to play well, get the season started. The season doesn't start until the second half. This is all still preseason.
The season officially starts in October. That's the official start of the season. This is just extended preseason.
Cool. Totally agree. The beauty of where we're at right now is me and Jared are both 0%. No losses, no wins yet. It's time to start it in earnest. And I want to let you kick off the show with your 1-point play.
Dude, thank you so much. We talked a couple days ago about our picks, and things have changed since then. I've done some thinking. I've switched a couple picks around. So
have I.
I love it, and that's why we're great gamblers, because we're always looking, always paying attention. I like Saints minus 5.5 versus the Falcons as my 1-point play. It was originally an honorable mention. I brought it up to the starting roster. JMO had. Did you see Jameis Winston's quote about symmetrical bodies?
Yeah, he was like, my knees are my ankles, and my ankles are like my shoulders. It was great. It was like that song,
Head, shoulders,
knees, shoulders, knees, and toes. Yeah. That guy's a clown.
Dude, I love him. He is a perfect little angel, and I want the best for him. Such a silly guy. And I think the Saints locker room, he is. And the Saints locker room loves him, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not in the locker room, but I love him. I mean, it's hard not to laugh with that guy. So I think they love him. I think he's going to perform well. Falcons have a very bad roster, and they're starting Marcus Mariota, which you can't feel too great about. I'm a Mariota supporter, but I'd rather have Jameis Winston come out. This is actually sneaky I just realized this is the first overall versus second overall pick. These two started their careers playing against each other. So Jameis Winston's first ever throw in the NFL was a pick six, which is beautiful for Jameis Winston.
Yep.
I hope his last ever throw is a pick six too. That would just be like so like poetic. And then Mariota had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions that game. So this, when I'm looking at it, seems like a Jameis
bit of a
Winston
revenge game.
Yep. Took the words right out of my mouth. This is absolutely a revenge game for Jameis Winston from that Week 1, Season 1 game. He's going to be fired up, come in, all cylinders go, and then the Saints just, have a way better roster, top to bottom, than the Falcons do.
No, I fully agree. This is actually my lock, so I'm just going to get into some of my points right now. You're going to hear me bet on the Saints a lot this year. So the Saints had the 8th best defensive line, and the Falcons had the 28th best offensive line. This is per Pro Fantasy Football, or PFF. What the fuck are they? Pro Football Focus? PFF.
Nerds.
Nerds. So the nerds are telling us that the Saints have a really good D-line, and the Falcons have a bad offensive line. And it's not like the Falcons are any good with their defensive line, literally the worst rated defensive line coming into this year. So I just think the Saints are going to be able to put on pressure, and I don't think the Falcons are going to be able to apply that back. I also think the Saints team is going to look a lot better on offense. Last year, they had Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris, Traquan Smith, and Little Jordan Humphrey as their top 4 wide receivers. Replacing those guys with Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave is such an incredible jump. I mean, I know people want to kind of clown on Landry, like Landry, is he really that good? It's been a couple years. That dude's a really precise route runner, and I think when you have 3 guys like that, good route runners are going to get open. You don't need to be the fastest guy on the field or have amazing hands if there's no one within 5 feet of you.
Yep, you want to be quick and sudden. That's more important than speed, which people seem to forget sometimes.
Yeah, Atlanta also lost their longtime leader in Matt Ryan. I do question, you're going to be hearing me talk about first-time head coaches. They have Lovie Smith as their coach right now in Atlanta. They don't have their previous captain. So I do think that if this Atlanta team looks good by the end of the year, I don't think it's going to start right away. I think it might take a couple weeks for some chemistry to develop for the squad. So I'm fading the Week 1, and you're also getting pretty good value, minus 110. I mean, I think that could be a lower number. So last stat here, Saints have won their last 4 appearances in Atlanta by over 7 points.
Love that. Love to see that. I am trying to name Falcons skill players right now, and I'm struggling besides Drake London, who's been banged up already. Drake London's banged up.
So you have Kyle Pitts, you have Drake London, you have Cordell Patterson.
No.
And
did they bring him back?
Cordell Patterson. Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay.
I'm 99% sure they brought him back.
Okay. My bad.
I'm going to type in Atlanta depth chart right now. I almost want to say,
too.
is Auden Tate on that team?
It's Cordell, Damian Williams. Oh, man. Who is this guy?
Zacharias?
Yeah. He looks like
Brian
a
Edwards,
vegetable.
the former... Yeah, and then you also have Brian Edwards, who is a hot name coming out of school, who's never really made it happen in the NFL.
He was a Raider, right?
Yeah, he was a Raider. Yep.
Jake Matthews.
You know what's funny is that last year, Derek Carr, who now has Devontae Adams on his team, said, "Watch out, Brian Robertson." Or what the fuck's his name?
Edwards.
Brian Edwards reminds me a lot of Devontae Adams, which is such a clown show comment to make.
Man, yeah. I don't know about that, Chief. He's wide receiver 3.
Yeah, exactly. He's wide receiver 3 on a team with no skill pieces. We're in lockstep there. I love that. My 1-point play, and this is going to be rare for me. I'm going with an over/under. If you followed the show at all, you know that I hate betting these, and my record with them is dog shit. But I'm going with it anyway. So I'm going under 50.5 for the Bucks Cowboys. This is priced as if this game was happening last year, but these are 2 very different teams coming into this year. Listen to the amount of players that are gone on the offense of these 2 teams. Gronk, gone. Mike Evans has a hamstring issue coming into this game. You have Russell Gage hamstring issue coming into this game. Godwin won't return for this game with late season ACL tear. Center Ryan Jensen out. Right tackle Kristen Wirfs out. ACL MCL injury for Aaron Stinney out. And then For the Cowboys side of things, you have James Washington, who is supposed to replace Mike Gallup. Both of those guys are going to be out. So Gallup will be out. James Washington will be out. Cedric Wilson, a death piece at wide receiver for the Cowboys, also out. Tyron Smith is going to be out for the Cowboys.
That matters a lot.
It does. They lost Lyle Collins to the Bengals this offseason, the Cowboys. Amari Cooper is going to be gone. This is really fucking crazy. And what I really like in this game in terms of betting the under is that if you know your defensive coaches, Todd Bowles has historically just been a blitzer. He blitzes constantly. And when Dak is blitz, his yard per attempt drops a whole yard, which is a really big deal. It might not sound like a lot, but over a course of a game, it makes a huge, huge difference. And Dak without Amari Cooper, I thought this was very interesting. He is a 103 passer rating with Amari Cooper, so very good, like we expect from Dak Prescott. Without Amari Cooper, he's only 86 for his passer rating, which is much more just, civilian, much more standard. I also think this Bucs team is crazy overrated at this point. Why are people acting like Tom Brady didn't retire, missed most of training camp, unretire, has a lot of family issues coming out? Also, like, he's clearly going through a divorce or some sort of separation or some sort of issue like that. And I don't want to get into the weeds of his family, but are we going to pretend like that likely won't affect his play to some degree?
No, it definitely will. It definitely will. The biggest pieces for me that support, your pick here are the lines getting messed up. Tom Brady is significantly worse when you have interior pressure coming at him. And he's lost his
Giants
center
beat
and
him
his
twice
guard.
in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Michael Strahan just ruined his life. And it's gonna it's he's not the mobile guy. He never was a mobile guy. Every year he's getting less and less mobile. I've never seen a 45-year-old guy put on the burners. He might be 46.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. If they get any interior pressure, he's going to collapse. And he's just going to take the sack. And that's kind of his game. That's what you see Matt Ryan do. That's what Phillip Rivers would do. That's what these guys...
The statues.
The statue kind of quarterback. That's what they do. Ali Marpet, I don't know. He was an all-pro guard. And Tom Brady, I don't have the stats in front of me, but if you looked up his stats with and without that piece, he is dreadfully worse. And then he lost his center, too. So now he's got 2 of his 3 starting interior pieces gone. And then Tyron Smith is a similar story with Dak Prescott. When he's not in the game and Dak Prescott's getting pressured, he looks pretty bad. So
let's not pretend like it's just the QBs that are affected. The running backs for both teams, these are 2 teams that like to run the ball. When you have line injuries, the running backs are affected just as much.
Yeah. Zeke looks fat still. Have you seen Zeke?
Yeah.
He's looking fat.
He's just going to look that way, I think, until he retires. Like, I don't think he'll ever look slim.
I'm starting to get the impression that he doesn't care about football as much as a lot of the guys in the locker room do. Just like taking care of your body. Like you think that like that's something that you would want to do, be able to do, as a professional athlete. But you see it time and time again. These guys, they get paid and then they take their foot off the gas. He's like he's streaming.
The timing of him blowing up is very interesting.
So I like that pick.
I have two quick things. I did so much research for this because it's over under and I hate them. All right, so these 2 teams actually kicked off last season to start the year, and if you take the pieces that left these 2 teams, I want to read you up the totals. So between Antonio Brown, Godwin, and Gronk, they had 315 yards in this game last year and 4 touchdowns. All those guys all for the Bucs. Yeah, this game alone.
Whoa.
And then if you do the same exercise with the Cowboys between Cooper, Gallup, and Wilson, you have 200 yards lost and 2 touchdowns worth of offense. I understand that like CeeDee Lamb is going to make up for some of that, but man, that's putting a lot on like CeeDee Lamb and just Mike Evans pretty much for the Buccaneers.
Crazy. The secondary is good on the Bucs. They have a really good secondary. Antoine Winfield and Carlton Davis Jr. I think there's another corner I'm forgetting. They're all good players. And then say what you want about the Cowboys defense, but Dan Quinn, in my opinion, is one of the best defense coordinators in the league. And he's going to put together a good defense, whether he has the pieces to or not. That's just kind of what he does. That's who he is. So I like that. I like this pick a lot, and that's a high over/under 50 points, 50.5.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. So
like
that's
that.
why I went with it. I think Dan Quinn's going to get another coaching spot. Random tangent, but he'll get another shot, I think.
I was saying it last year. Todd Bowles and Dan Quinn were my two guys. Where if I was a team looking for a head coach, those are the guys I would ring up. And one of them has the job. I'm expecting Dan Quinn to get one next year. Okay, 2-point play. 2-point play is Dolphins minus 3.5 versus the Patriots. It is. I think I talked about this recently, like on the last episode with you. But the Dolphins have a superior roster, top to bottom, aside from the quarterback. I don't like Tua. I never will like Tua. And but like I don't think it really matters with these playmakers. You can kind of dink and dunk, kind of like Kyle Shanahan does with the 49ers, and you're going to get that style of play from this Dolphins head coach. I forget his name. What's his name?
Mike McDaniels, who's obviously a protege of Shanahan.
Yep, he falls from the tree, so I'm expecting similar kind of plays, and he has like the perfect team for it. It's kind of I don't think I can think of a better team that he would go to, where you have like speed top to bottom, running back, wide receivers, and tight end all are top end in their positions in terms of speed. That's gonna get you. Like that's gonna get especially the worst teams. And then the Patriots, on the other end, they don't have a very good roster. They have Mac Jones, who I like and I think is a good quarterback, but he's another kind of statue quarterback. And it's just like a guy like that isn't going to carry a team. He needs weapons around him, and he doesn't have them. He has Hunter Henry, who is pretty mediocre, I would say at this point. Like, he kind of fell
good in
below.
the red zone, but like,
yeah, I guess. But he, in my opinion, fell below the expectations that he had after his time in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
And then Nelson Aguilar, congrats. Kendrick Bourne, congrats. Devontae Parker apparently is their runaway wide receiver 1. That guy got cut from that team that you're playing against. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to show greatly in this game. I don't know how any Patriots cornerback is going to cover any Dolphins wide receiver this game.
No, I fully agree. I mean, just from the skill positions, it's such a mismatch. And, we were talking about this. And initially I was a little bit scared because you have a first-time head coach and Mike McDaniels going against Bill Belichick. But I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized this isn't exactly Bill Belichick because, Joe Judge, I believe, is calling the defensive plays, and I believe Patricia's calling the offensive plays. Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are two of the worst coaches the NFL has seen in the last decade or so. I mean, these were truly embarrassing guys. Sure. And if they are making any sort of decisions for the Patriots, I would be scared. So, yeah, I mean, I think, and really it's just like, it could be one play where Tyreek Hill just gets a 10-yard slant and boom, it's a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
So
that's how I picture
this.
it. I picture Waddle running a drag route, Tyreek running the slant, tell Tua, hit whichever one you like more, watch the linebackers, and then those guys with the ball in their hands are going to score. Gesicki, just throw a 50-50 ball to Gesicki. Boom.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. It's just like the Patriots just have never really been that fast of a team, and they're just going up against one of the quickest teams really in the NFL today. Probably the quickest team in the NFL. So I like the Dolphins here. And it's in Miami, and Miami's had a lot of success against the Patriots in Miami over the years.
That's true.
So,
Miami has their number. Miami has their number, and they have even when the coin was flipped, and the Patriots were good and the Dolphins were bad.
Yep.
There you go.
No, exactly. So, no, I like this. I do. I like this a lot. And yeah, I'm gonna be betting the Dolphins a lot this year. I just didn't know about week 1. So my 2-point play here, I'm flipping between two plays, but I think, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with the 49ers over the Bears. Obviously the Bears are like one of those teams that everyone's clowning. It is -6.5.
Amazing.
-6.5 for San Francisco. So you're under the touchdown. Boom. Matt tells you that's a solid enough bet. And I think the Bears will look okay by the end of the year, but I think it's going to be a rough start for them because, again, they also have a first-time coach. I was looking into last year how the 49ers did when they were favorited big by games. So they were favorited in week 1 against the Lions by 9, and they won by 8. Okay, not great, but let's look at the rest of the year. Favorited by 4 against the Bears last year, and they won by 11. 6.5 against the Jaguars, won by 20. 8.5 versus the Falcons, won by 18. Favorited by 12.5 versus Texans, won by 16. This is a team that when they're far better than the other team, they make it known, and they kind of stomp on them. Let's see here.
Besides the quarterback, this is pretty much the same team, isn't it? They didn't really lose.
Yeah, I mean it's almost entirely the same team. Yeah, no, it's they're coming into the season healthy. You know, Kittle I hear is like a little banged up with I think some sort of like foot issue, but I imagine he's going to be playing. The Browns were 0. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think he's banged up forever at this point.
Yeah, he'll be banged up until the day he retires. Bears were 0-4 ATS as underdogs last year. This is a team that really doesn't play well as a dog. The Bears' offensive and defensive lines are both rated 31st, so they're very bottom of the barrel. Where you have San Francisco has the 6th best defensive line and a 14th best offensive line. And I just think Trey Lance is going to want to come out and show. I think Kyle Shanahan is going to want to come out and show why they grabbed Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. I think they've been holding back a lot of plays. I think you're going to see him rolling out a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of cool design runs for him, RPOs, things like that. I think they're really going to unlock him. You know, it's under a touchdown for what I think the 49ers are maybe a top 5 team in the NFC. And they're playing arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL. Big mismatch in the trenches. Great head coach in Shanahan versus a first-time head coach in Eberflus, if I'm saying his name right. So, yeah, I mean, the 49ers won the NFC Championship last night. Let's not sleep on them.
People love to forget. So, this is my lock. 6.5 versus the Bears.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Hey, you agree.
Love this line. Love this. It stuck out to me like a sore thumb. I think this is potentially the worst roster in the NFL versus the best roster in the NFL. The 49ers have the best left tackle in the NFL. One of the best left tackles ever, by the way.
Yeah, is that Trent Richardson? Is that
Trent Williams? One of the best to ever do it. They have one of the best, if not the best, linebacker in the league in Fred Warner. They have one of the best edge rushers in Nick Bosa. They have one of the best tight ends in George Kittle. One of the best weapons in Deebo Samuel. There's not a lot to not like about this team. They have a top to bottom excellent roster. They have star power. They have depth. They have everything you could want, and they have maybe the best coach in the NFL right now, who is a mastermind of play design, and he now has a new weapon in Trey Lance who can run the ball. Jimmy Garoppolo was another statue guy. Trey Lance, that opens up probably 30% more plays than they had before. They can do rollouts. They can do throw pass options. They can do all this kooky stuff. And I think, like you said, they have not been showing all their plays, and now they're going to start to leak some of those plays, show you some of the tricks up their sleeve. I don't imagine that they have any shortage of tricky plays. No,
I agree.
I think it's going to be a steady. It's not going to be like, we want to save them so we don't have any. It's going to be like, okay, we have 200 sneaky plays. Let's use 10 of them today.
They just have the players. It's not just the fact that Trey Lance is this freak athlete, which I totally think is the case. Deebo Samuel, I mean, he created a whole new position in the NFL. George Kittle, man, he'll be limping, but he's a freak himself.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk is one of the best, deep targets in the league. His average depth of target is unreal. I just so many talented guys over in the 49ers.
Yep.
So,
and then on the other end, you have the Bears, who are dog shit. Dog shit. It's Justin Fields. I think we're a pro Justin Fields podcast.
Yes,
but
very much so.
And pro David Montgomery, pro Darnell Mooney, but that's it, man. Those are the only guys.
You know what? I'm going to throw out another name real quick. I love me some Cole Kmet. I think he's a very solid young tight end. I think we're going to hear his name for a long time. But Cole Kmet isn't beating the 49ers.
Nope, sure isn't. Isn't. I'd put him in the same tier as Dawson Knox, going forward, same trajectory, which is good. You're going to be around the NFL for a while. But that roster is awful. The front office is awful. I don't know about this coach, but I don't.
I think their GM just stepped down, or was it their owner? I think it was the GM.
He's planning to step down, I believe.
Yeah,
I think he said this is his last ride. So I don't trust that guy to hire the future. If he's like looking at the door, he's looking at the golf course. I can't expect him to hire like the next Sean McDermott, the next Kyle Shanahan, like this guy that's gonna turn around a fucking franchise. I don't feel good about the Bears. I think they go 2-15 this year. It's my official prediction for the Bears.
I'm going 3-13-1. I'm predicting there's a tie in there.
Go.
Like an absolute psychopath. So yeah, I mean, I think we've covered all our picks at this point, right? Because I had a lock, and it was the Saints game, and you had a lock in this 49ers-Bears game. So we've covered everything on the show. So do you want to give out some honorable mentions here? Because I have one that I actually think is really good, and there was a line move that makes it even better. I should have checked before the show. I'm a little salty, but I'm not going to change my picks. But you want to do some honorable mentions?
I would love to, but before we do that, do you want to go over maybe our underdog picks?
Look at you. Look at you, man.
I'm looking out for the sponsors, man. Looking out for the sponsors. All right. Yeah, let's
first, you want to just talk about Underdog?
Let's do it, man. Let's talk about Underdog. They are our new sponsor coming into this year. God bless them. We love Underdog, and I hope they love us. We appreciate them giving us the sponsorship, but we also love their app as we've been working with them. Underdog is sort of a fantasy... it's a fantasy app. It's a fantasy app, so you can use it in any state. It's not going to be restricted like it would be with other, sports apps like FanDuel or the Barstool Book. You can use it anywhere, which is awesome. I hate when I'm traveling around. My girlfriend lives in Minnesota. I can't use my sports book up there. I can use Underdog wherever the hell I want. And it focuses on, it has... well, the piece I like, you can talk about the best ball stuff, but the piece I like is the over/under, or it's called It's called Pick'ems, and the interface is beautiful. You just basically pick player props across a few different teams, and it's super easy to use, super great odds. You get great payout on your bets. I love it. They love us. Use promo code SLICK while signing up. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And, use that $100. Follow us. Follow our picks. Double your money. Quadruple your money because you use their money and your money together. Double money. Bet that money. Double again. That's quadruple money.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, one last thing I want to talk about before we get into our actual pick'ems for this week is that they're constantly updating things. So like Jared was saying, the user interface recently just got a complete overhaul, and it went from being very good to like the best user interface that I'm on a lot of different gambling apps just to check lines and things like that. This is the best user interface for any product that's similar to this. So I want to throw that out there. Second is they just added this really cool feature called insurance. Yes. So while you're putting together your parlay, you can do this crazy 6-7 leg parlay, and then you can add insurance on it. So if in case 1 to 2 of the things that you put in your parlay card don't hit, you'll still get paid out just for like less money. But it's awesome because how many times do you put together a parlay and 4 of the 5 legs hit and you're pissed off? It happens so often, but with this, you're still going to get paid out. It's actually kind of insane. I don't understand how this is profitable for them, but that's their problem, not ours. So, all right, let's go into our actually pick'ems here. So you said you had one for tonight, it sounds like.
I do. So you knew the way it works is you need to have 2 different teams. So I have, let me look here. I have, okay, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so it's a 4-piecer. It's a 4-piece parlay.
Wow.
It is Devin Singletary, under 12 rushing attempts. They have 3 running backs. They're going to run a similar system to what the Commanders are going to do, where they have Robinson, goal line, McKissick catching, and then they have Gibson.
Gibson in between the 20s?
Yep. And then that's what they're going to do in Buffalo. They have Singletary in between the 20s. Zach Moss is going to get any goal line work, and then James Cook is going to get catches and also rushes because they want to see what he's got. So I like that. I like Stephon Diggs, under 6 catches. Jalen Ramsey's going to be on him all night, and there's so many weapons, they're not going to force feed him. I like McKenzie, over 3 catches, for that same reason. And then I'm also taking Deebo Samuel to score 1 touchdown rushing or receiving week 1. That right there together, it pays out. If I put $50 on it, I get $500.
Wow. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Love that. Love underdog.
Yeah, no, me too, man. I mean, the payouts is really one of those things. It's like you got to go into the app and just see how fucking unreal some of these payouts are.
Yeah,
it's almost hard to describe. So yeah, I have pick'ems. I'm a little less ambitious as Jared. I only have a 2-leg pick'em, but here it is. It's another zig. You got a zag. Everyone's been fading Antonio Gibson all year, and I'm going to be betting over him on week 1. So last year, like, it's one of those things where it's curious what storylines like really take off and which don't. Antonio Gibson was suffering stress fractures the entire year last year. The media was well aware of it. Just no one talked about it. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's just bad. It's like, is he bad or is he suffering from an injury, you know? Stress fractures sound really bad, but 6 to 8 weeks of rest, you'll be completely fine moving forward. And he had that in the offseason. Last year, the Jags gave up. So let's say like the primary ball carrier for the other team, they gave it up at least 53% of the time last year. And Gibson was able to hit this mark in 40% of his games last year, which sounds like, oh, that doesn't sound great. But you also got to remember, again, that injury, and he was also competing for snaps. He's not going to be competing for snaps, at least for the beginning of this year, considering that Brian Robinson was shot in the leg. So, you know, Gibson's going to be pretty much getting 65% of the touches. And last year, let me see if I can pull up this stat here. When Gibson was given at least 45% of the snaps, which is relatively low, he averages 88 total yards, and he has to get over 76 for this pick'em. I should actually say what it was. It's over 76 and a half yards for Gibson. So many guys did this to the Jaguars last year. The Jaguars are not a particularly great defense, and especially not with the run defense.
Pretty poop.
You know, guys were totaling up 85 yards, 130 yards, 116 yards, 118 yards, 120 yards, 124 yards, 100 yards, and 95 yards. These are just like random games I picked out for just a primary ball carrier from last year. You also had guys going 74, 75. I mean, just barely missing. So, you know, I think improved offense here with Carson Wentz over Taylor Heineke, and I think Antonio Gibson finds a way.
I love it. We love the Commanders.
Next
on
one.
This, go, please.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, we are big Commanders fans. We're actually really Washington football team fans. I won't call them Commanders. I only call them Washington football team.
The ride we had with them, man. The ride we had.
Yeah, it was. No one believed in us, but we believed in them.
Oh yeah, we did.
Paid out nicely. So my next prop here is Justin Fields. Let me scroll down. It's over over 235 total yards. So when I'm looking at this, I looked at what did mobile quarterbacks do to the 49ers last year. So they played Hurts, Murray, and Fields last year. Those were the 3 mobile quarterbacks they played. All 3 of those guys covered fairly easily. Some of those guys covered with just their arm. Like Justin Fields covered that last year pretty easily with, I'm saying, like 175 total yards. So very casual. I also think that this is a much improved offense with just losing Matt Nagy. If you saw that offense last year, it was some of the most uninspiring, poor decision-making you'll ever see. You know, he really went under the radar because of just how bad like Adam Gase has been, Urban Meyer, Joe Judge, Matt Patricia, some of those real dregs of the league. But Matt Nagy was one of the worst in the league. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. I just think this offense is going to look significantly better. And I think Justin Fields in garbage time against, I know it's a good defense, but you know, Darnell Mooney's going to get his, you know, Cole Kmet's going to total up 40 yards. And even if the game's going really rough, he can scramble, and he can scramble for 40, 50 yards in a game. He's done it plenty of times in his early career.
You'll always have garbage time as well, worst case scenario. My buddy, he won his fantasy league on Blake Bortles' garbage time. Blake Bortles would have 8 points going into the fourth quarter, and he'd finish with 24 every time because he just starts slinging the rock, playing that soft cover 4. March down the field.
No, exactly. I just think late in this game, what's the 49ers' incentive to hold Justin Fields back from getting some yards? It's not like they're giving up touchdowns. They're not like they're giving up points. Let him march in between the 20s all he wants. So, yeah, I mean, I know I'm on the 49ers to win the game, but I think Fields will end up looking fine. year two, he's going to jump. He's going to improve.
I like that just because he's a mobile guy. So, like, you're going to get so many bonus yards, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Fields has rushed for 100 yards in a game on multiple occasions last year. Like, he's a freak, you know?
Love that.
Yeah. Honorable mention time?
Honorable mention time. Do you want to start?
Sure. So I was originally on this play, and I moved off it, and I am probably back on it, and it's Ravens minus 6.5 versus the Jets. I don't know really why this line moves, because there was some news about Zach Wilson not playing in the game, and it jumped to 7.5, and now it's back to 6.5. He was never going to play, so it seemed really stupid. And my whole thought behind this bet was that the Ravens blitz on 46% of their plays. They are the number one team in terms of blitzing. Joe Flacco, old man, can't move around. He hasn't won a game, I think since like 2019 or something like that. It's been really, really tough for him. And the Jets always start off really slow in September. They've lost their last 12 games in September. They're 1-11 ATS in those games. The Ravens were 8-3 to start last year, a very, very strong team before Lamar got hurt. If you're going to bet Lamar and the Ravens, bet it early in the season before injuries start to bite them.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore 9-1 straight up in their last 11 games against the Jets. 2-10 ATS in their last 12 games against Baltimore are the Jets. It's just kind of bad vibes in the Meadowlands right now for the Jets.
I agree. This is an honorable mention for me as well. The only concern I have with it is that it is a home game for the Jets on 9/11. And New York likes to come together on that day, and it might be tough, might be a little tougher. I would give them 3 extra points because of 9/11.
Just like patriotism?
Yes, the patriotism line. Yeah, exactly.
That's tough. I mean, I don't have a good retort for that. Like, I don't know how the Ravens come over patriotism. Like, that's going to be tough.
That's exactly the issue, my friend. Exactly the issue.
It'd be nice to see the Jets keep that game close, because I just hate to see bad teams. I want to see every team have like a chance. And also Lamar contract year, he's going to end up tweeting some shit at halftime about how good he is.
That'd be sick.
He's been playing on Twitter a lot. He's been liking every tweet with him dressed up in a different uniform. That's my honorable mention.
I like it. I have that one. I really liked the Chiefs minus 5.5 versus the Cardinals, and also I like the over there. I don't need to dive into it too much. I really don't like the Cardinals this year, so betting against them is fun. And then I like the Titans minus 5.5 versus the Giants. Titans are just disrespected, and the Giants just love to gas themselves up only to be disappointed every year. I know my boy Dabble's there, but there were a lot of times over the 3 years where I said I wanted to kill Dabble and get him off.
I was going to say, everyone's so excited for, and it's actually Dabo. When he came to New York, he made a point about that. He's Dabo.
I don't care.
Dable, whatever. But either way, everyone was so excited for him to come to New York. And I'm like, as a casual Bills fan, following that team, people criticize that offense a ton.
He would make some wild play calling decisions. And in my opinion, he never ran a balanced offense. Josh Allen's first year is run only, and then they're going forward. He was like, we can't run the ball. Sometimes he would have a drive where he runs the ball down their throat, but it never felt like, what are the Bills going to do? I knew they were going to run it, or I knew they were going to pass it. And he's a very good play designer. He schemes people open, but he's not no balance. No balance, in my opinion. I wanted this head a few different times.
Yeah. No, that's always the critique of him, no balance. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully Barkley gets his, because, the Giants are going to win. They have to rely on some of the freak athletes they have. But no, it'll be interesting. Lastly, just because I'm sure people are slightly curious, I'm not crazy about the Lions this week 1. I think the Eagles they're actually my pick for NFC Super Bowl representative. And the Lions have 2 interior offensive linemen that are going to be out, both really late injuries into the training camp. Really, really sucks. And the Eagles' pass rush is fucking ferocious. So, not confident in that. But that's it for me. Anything else we got to give out?
Go to Underdog and use our promo code SLICK. SLICK.
No, check it out.
Please.
Yeah, literally, what I would say to people is just download the app and look around it. You'll know if you want to use it pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Download the app, poke around, and if you do decide you want to use it, use the promo code SLICK, and you won't regret it.
Please.
Yeah, let's have at it. Week 1, were you going 6-0?
And the underdog hits are going to hit too. No doubt in my mind. We might not lose this year. Honestly,
Dude,
I think we
are we
might
going
not
to be
lose
12-0? Because you gave out 4 picks. I gave out 2 picks in the pick'ems. And then we had 3 picks each. That's 12-0.
We're going to start 12-0. No doubt in my mind. I don't see a way any of us lose. I don't see a way any of these bets lose at any point whatsoever. It's going to be a sweep.
God,
I can't wait. Football's
I love
back.
this kind of confidence. Love it.
Confidence
love it.
we're
All right,
going to get.
See you guys next week.